Hey there YouTube, Paul is here once again. Today I've got a really ultra special amp review for you. I haven't done an amp review since I think my Angle Thunder 50 back in, I don't know, worse hairstyle days. You know, I was a younger man back then. And as always, if you do enjoy this video, please don't forget to subscribe and click the like button because it helps me out and it helps you out because then you help me and I make more content. Think that's the arrangement? Yeah, probably the arrangement. And if you really want to support me, go check out my Patreon page. I think it's just patreon.com/PaulOz. Links in the description. Without further ado, let's dig into the Revv 100P. As you can see, I've got it dialed in specifically. I'm always about specificity when it comes to tones. So my 08OS sounds really tasty with this specific tone going on. I've got a Fortin 33 and Zuul pedal running in front basically, but the 33 is off. So there's just amp with a little bit of a noise reduction from my Zuul here, and that's it. That's it. It just sounds so natural and so fantastic. I'm running the amp into a 2-notes captor, which is an 8 ohm captor. You can get it at 16 and 8, I believe. And it's running directly into my interface, and I'm loading up IRs basically in my DAW that you can see to the right of me here, to the left of you. And that's it. And it's a completely recordable, usable tone already. I don't need to do anything to it really in post. In fact, I would probably just have fun tweaking the knobs on this. And the fact is I've been such a digital guy for so long, it was almost like a novelty to go back to a tube amp. But this is mine. I own it. And for good reason, man. The clarity is incredible and it makes this 8-string sound fulfilled. It's almost as if purple goes with purple in a large way. I'm really in love with the amplifier, and the folks over at Revv have done a great job. So I know that we've got ourselves 6L6 GCs in the power section of this amplifier. We got 4 of those big boys, and I don't know if they've been changed because this amp is about a year old. I did get it secondhand technically, but the tubes sound fantastic. I know that it uses, I think, 12AX7s, 4 or 5 of them in the pre-section. And if you really want to know all of the exact specifications of how the amps work, I mean, just go to Revv Amps or Revv Amplification, I think, .com. And that's where you're going to be able to find every little nitty-gritty detail. But the main things, the points that make me want to use the amp, probably the aggression switches, the fact that the distortion seems to be incredibly intuitive in terms of the amount of gain that I really want to get out of an amp in the first place, the fact that you can switch it to 10 watt mode and crank it and get a really tasty tone, or turn it down if you've got a little speaker cabinet. I can tell you from my first moment of actually making it work and plug in and have the DAW running it through these little speakers, it was on 100 watt mode and I was blasting it and I felt it through my feet. I've never felt a digitized sound through my feet before. It was miraculous, and I made sure I wasn't clipping or anything. Okay, I did it the right way. It just sounds freaking killer. Now, the only reason the Zuul usually runs is this is an apartment and it's an old apartment building, and sometimes there is a little bit of that signal noise, and I'm just trying to make it as clean of an environment as I can possibly make it. That hence the extra pedal kind of thing. I'm actually going to change over the tones a little bit so you guys can hear a bit of the breath. So let's go and change it up into something a little different. So as I stumble back to my chair and nearly knock myself over, I've engaged the fat switch and removed the brightness because I feel like it's a worthwhile experiment. The aggression is also now on blue, which is less hairy than red. And I just wanted to show you guys what is possible. But see how fat it actually is? It doesn't add like this, I mean, the Axe FX2 has a fat switch on every amp technically, right? Or at least most of them that I've encountered. And it always adds too much warmth. But on an 8-string through a tube amp, it doesn't seem to add that kind of ugly thing. So this would be a really great rhythm tone, for example, if you wanted to do some... I feel like it would be great for John Petrucci style rhythm tones and even lead tones, I'm sure, but we're gonna get to that later. Point being, so the pinches are fading out faster, not only probably because a little bit of the gate, but because the gain is reduced. I'm not on the red aggression, but the blue guy seems to be able to replicate a kind of a great Mesa Boogie style tone. If you want to talk about like tonal comparisons, that's immediately what comes to my mind. But it sounds great. It sounds really, really sultry. It's not like a low gain distortion, it's just a different kind of like old school rhythm tone in a way. Old school in the way that it isn't like hyper 2K, 3K hertz. Gent boys. I see you, don't worry, there's a bit of that in this video too, of course. But it's got a breath to it, doesn't it? The amp immediately is able to summon up a completely different rhythm sound. And I didn't do too much. It's a couple of knobs, man. There's nothing complex about it. It's very straightforward. The fact that the front panel might be a bit intimidating to look at first, I mean, you can get over it really quick. That's what I'm noticing. I immediately got comfortable with it. So let's change the tone again, because why the hell not? That's what we're here for. I did forget to mention that I turned the contour switch down for that previous tone. And what that does, it seems to not cut mids, but not boost them. I feel like the contour switch adds something very tangible to the mids, which make it a little bit more present. Maybe even a bit more gentle for those of you inclined of that kind of genre. And you'll notice that like I'm not going through each channel like any other review. I'm going through it the way that I would like to use it. And for me, that makes a lot of sense. Now, that all being said, I will go through the clean and the crunch. It's just that for me, I really use distortion 90% of the time. When I use it when I play like jazz and things like that, even then I have like a low gain thing. So let's see what kind of tone I've conjured up now that I've switched around some of the settings. There's a lot of clarity, and obviously the brightness is up. So that low end, usually low end when it comes to guitar sounds on 8 strings, it needs to be compressed a bit to bring it up in the mix. But I would argue that the bare knuckles, because they don't saturate very well in the low end in comparison to like one of my favorite pickups, the Lundgrens. It's a different thing. You hear that, you hear the A string more than the F sharp string. But that might just be a matter of, you know, brightness and adding a bit more bass and things like that. This is still perfectly usable, but it's good to know like where the guitar is doing things, where the amp is doing things. It still sounds killer. I would be happy to use this tone in a recording situation. And what I also like to do, if you can't get it already, is I like to play some really evil dark notes on the low string. That's how I usually get my levels. And it just sounds so full. It's such a killer guitar tone. I cannot wait to make some demos for you guys, because I will definitely be doing songs and songs and songs with this amplifier. Whether I use pedals or not, or whatever, might be situationally dependent upon the song and the exact atmosphere and tone I'm going for. But every tone I've been able to come up with on this thing, with some common sense, it turns into awesomeness. Because I mean, without common sense, you can make even the best amplifier sound like something that was built in the garage of someone who doesn't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like a crap tone at the end of the day. So all I've been able to say is good things about this. Let's change to the clean and the crunch channel to change it up a little bit, you know? Alright, so now we've switched to a clean tone. I'm on the neck pickup of my Aristides 080S, and it sounds like this. Now, neck pickups typically are dark and furious. But that's a little bit too much bass, so let me go and EQ this thing. Now do remember, I'm on an 8-string guitar after all, so it's gonna be a bit bassier. But that's pretty damn bassy. So let's try and play something on position 4, which is like a split position. Now that is really sparkly, full. I really dig that. Of course, there's a bit of breakup when you start to dig in, which is fantastic. And I haven't mentioned it, but I did turn off the noise gate just in case. So now I'm going into position 2, which is kind of the bridge. Pretty nice and spanky. Nice. But yeah, you see, clean, responsive, but just clean. It just seems to work. That's what I'm digging so far. There's that bridge pickup, a little bit of that breakup because the gain is a little high. I really enjoy that. I still feel like I've put the gain up a bit high, so it might be a little bit aggressive. but it's cool. Hey folks, so I do realize now that I've switched over to the 060, it's at a 100 watt mode setting on the clean channel as well. The presence is set at a certain thing and the depth is set at a certain thing. The master is quite high, so that will also explain why there's a bit of breakup in the clean channel, which is what a lot of guitar players want. I understand that now. My bad. It's just, it sounds killer anyway. It's just that I couldn't clean up the tone because obviously it's kind of running hotter than usual in an apartment. So again, apartment, 50-year-old building made out of wood, really fun. Here we go. I have switched over the tone to obviously the purple channel, my favorite channel. And I've got my 060 here with the Lundgrens, which are very high output. Let's see how it sounds. Yeah, it's killer, isn't it? I think it's so fun. It's so meaty anyway, and with the Lundgrens pushing the front end of the amp, the Zuul and the 33 are off. Nothing is working. It's just guitar into the amp, right? And what you'll also notice is the contour switch is down on this tone, because to me that's able to reflect a more 2006 decapitated tone, which is one of my favorite rhythm tones of all time. I dig it. I can really play this all day if I had all day to play it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this review and that you enjoyed my kind of reaction and my discovery. I always like to review from the point of view of like, well, I haven't discovered everything about the amp. It's not a product demo, for goodness sake. I own this thing. I chose it for a reason, and I hope that you understand that reason really well. If you're looking into getting a Revv, go visit their website. They have a bunch of different custom options in terms of Tolex and things like that. And if you get the Big Daddy, the 120, I know that you can get like a logo laser etched for like a nominal fee as well. That's really cool. Maybe I'll do that one day too, just to have a couple of Revvs, because it's really worthwhile to own something so versatile. And I mean, I suppose I don't need a 120. I want a 120. I think that's another thing. Is like I really wanted a Revv for a while now, and after I got the G3 pedal, which is right here, which I have been adoring, it was just you know, when I was offered the chance to get the 100p, I jumped at it. I knew within about 20 minutes that I was like, well, yeah, okay, done. Yeah, sounds good. Basically, and that's all she wrote. So stay tuned. There will be more videos with this amplifier coming up. I will be writing a lot of music with it, and I cannot wait to see what comes out of my fingers with this amplifier in the next few months. Hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for sitting and staying for a while and listening, and hopefully having a good beverage with you. And yeah, subscribe, click that notification bell, because then you will know whenever I put up a new video, and that's just the best. And yeah, man, like, share, all that good stuff. I'm gonna play myself out because I love this amp.